Hello everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here for the Sailing Weather Information Service. It's Thursday the 6th of November. This is your Outlook forecast for the weekend and a look into next week as well. Thank you for watching. We'll start with the chart for Friday first of all. An area of low pressure across the country. This front sweeping its way eastwards and giving rain to many eastern regions to start the day on Friday. Another area of rain, a wraparound feature following in from the west. It's likely to affect many parts of the Irish Sea and moving northeastwards across northern parts of England through into Friday afternoon. Away from that, frequent showers moving through from west to east, these most frequent and heaviest out towards the south and the west, but you'll do well to avoid them through the course of the day. Some strong winds around as well during Friday, during the morning across many eastern regions of the country and out towards the southeastern corner as well. We've got wind speeds as southerlies up from around a force 7 to a force 8 quite widely across these southeastern regions during Friday morning. Away towards the southwest, the wind speed dropping away a little bit, but still not far off force 6 or force 7. In the western part of the English Channel, locally at force 8 offshore, and in exposure, this turning around more to a southwesterly by this time. A west or southwesterly through the Irish Sea early in the morning, and this nearer to a force 5, but in exposure, again not far off a force 6 or a force 7, strongest away to the southwest of Wales. A little bit lighter away towards northwestern parts of Scotland, could be stronger for a while though in Dumfries and Galloway around the Solway Firth, but western Scotland typically down at forces 4 or maybe a force 5 locally where exposed. Those winds remain strong through into the afternoon, easing down a little bit across eastern England, typically coming around to a southwesterly and easing away to a force 5 near to shore, but in the English Channel in exposure locally force 6 and force 7. A little bit more lighter in the Solent, for example, down to a force 5, but where you're exposed, and in mid-channel, much nearer to a force 7 here, similar away in the southwestern approaches as a west or a southwesterly. Easing down a little bit in the Irish Sea as well, typically southwesterlies, force 5 or 6, and the risk of a force 7 where in the middle of the Irish Sea. Western Scotland, again, that bit lighter, much nearer to a force 4 here. Through into the weekend then, and we've got the chart for Saturday. This is a frontal feature making its way northeastwards across England and Wales. I think most of the rain likely to be reserved to southern regions, but across the English Channel could be a spell of rain coming through for a good few hours. As that front moves through as well, wind speeds fairly strong, again nearer to a force 7 in the English Channel, and freshening for a few hours ahead of that front as it moves through quite gusty as well. Further towards the north and the east, wind speeds across the more northeastern regions around a force 5, maybe slightly lower than that in Shelter. Similar for western Scotland too. In the Irish Sea could become quite light and variable down to a force 4 to the north of this system, but get further south and you're into the stronger winds and that risk of being nearer to a force 5 and towards a force 7 in the western part of the English Channel. And quite a few showers as well through the Irish Sea and a few getting on to western Scotland, northeastern parts of England and eastern Scotland probably staying dry for most of daylight hours during Saturday. That frontal feature will make its way eastwards into the evening on Saturday, so the far southeast of England may just pick up to a force 7 locally around the Dover Strait and also parts of Suffolk, so winds increasing towards nightfall in this area. For Sunday then, we've got the remnants of that front in the southeast, and we've got bits and pieces of rain, perhaps persistent for a good few hours in the southeastern corner. Here, wind speeds maybe southwesterlies at a force 5, tending to ease from the west as we go through the day. A few showers out towards the western side of Wales, out to the Irish Sea as well, western Scotland, but for many, wind speeds are considerably less and quite light and variable, down to a force 3 or less in Shelter, and with some decent spells of sunshine coming through, not doing too bad if feeling fairly cool. For Monday, we've got fronts advancing in from the west once again, and rain getting into Ireland, moving into the southwestern approaches through the course of the day. Elsewhere, most places are dry. We've got wind speeds increasing though from the west. We've got southwesterly or southerly at first in eastern parts of the English Channel near to a force 4, but widely freshening to a force 5 from central areas and further out towards the southwest, nearing a force 6, then a force 7 as we get ahead of that front as it advances in. Across more northeastern regions though, it's typically as south or south-southwesterlies, forces 3, but gradually increasing I think through the course of the day, still only getting towards a low force 4 in eastern regions of England. In the Irish Sea, typically a south or a south-southwesterly at around a force 5, increasing though in towards the south at a force 6 or a force 7 in the southwestern part of the Irish Sea. Looking pretty unsettled as we go through into the middle part of next week. A dominant southwesterly pattern in place, so Belts of rain and showers spreading from the south and the west, and frequently wind speeds between around forces 5 and force 7, just depending on exactly where these fronts finally position themselves. So a pretty blustery pattern and frequent showers, most of these out towards the west and the southwestern corner of Britain and Ireland. And that front clearing away towards the east may not give such a bad day across more eastern regions. Here your wind speeds are southwesterlies nearer to a force 5 locally, force 6 offshore. Details become a little bit more difficult as we go through into Wednesday, still in that west to southwesterly pattern. Belts of rain and showers spreading in from the southwest. Eastern regions not doing too bad, but still here with wind speeds around southwesterlies at a force 5. Maybe increasing quite a bit though across more southwestern regions, force 6 or 7, risk of increasing that bit higher, and we need to keep an eye on the forecast for this one. So quite unsettled overall over these next few days, probably a struggle to really get any decent sailing done. I think Sunday is the best day of the weekend overall. Wind speeds for most are very light and variable, quite widely, down to a force 3 or less, just away from the far southeastern corner, where rain may persist and winds that little bit stronger locally. We'll bring you up to date though with the latest for next week in the next video updated on Monday. For now though, thank you for watching, and bye for now.